In this video, you're going to learn exactly how to build your very first AI agent that uses OpenAI's brand new GPT-5 model. You see, at 9X, we've trained hundreds of companies, teaching their teams to implement AI and automation, saving them dozens of hours every week on repetitive tasks. And the thing is, a lot of these teams started off as complete beginners. So if they can do it, you can too. Without further ado, let's dive in. So the agent that we're going to be building is this AI news post writer agent. Basically every day on Slack, it's going to send you the top AI news that you need to know about. But even more than that, it goes ahead and immediately creates a LinkedIn post for each news item that you can easily just review and then copy and post on LinkedIn. So this is going to be perfect if maybe you just want to stay up to date with the latest in AI, or maybe you're looking to start posting content a little bit more but don't know where to start. This agent is here to help, and you can adapt this to whatever area you might be interested. So it doesn't need to be AI news, and also this could be X posts, this could be blog articles, whatever content you want to create. But what's very powerful about this agent is I can actually here on Slack directly chat with it and get it to improve some of these posts. So I might say something like, I really like the direction in post number 3, but can you please suggest 4 alternative hooks that might work better for this post? Perfect. And our agent has replied with different options, how we can optimize the content. And you can basically just go back and forth with this agent until you're happy with the result. So the tool that we're going to be using to build this AI agent out with using no code whatsoever is called Lindy AI, and I'll leave a link in the description below. What is amazing about Lindy is it allows us to set up agents simply by describing the task we want them to perform. So here I am in my Lindy AI account, and I'm going to paste in a prompt that I've prepared for setting up my agent. So here you go, it's in a little bit of detail. Also, if you do want to build this agent along with me live, in the description below, you also find a link to a fully written tutorial that we have on our website where you'll be able to get all the prompts that I'm using to build this out. So I'm going to say here, build an agent that uses Perplexity to get the top AI news from the last 24 hours. And here I've provided a list of specific AI providers and also tools that I like using that I want it to monitor. So I don't just want any generic AI news. I want it anything around these tools or these models. And then I'm giving it its workflow. So select the top 3 news items based on some criteria. Send me a short Slack summary with a brief headline for each news item and a 1 to 2 sentence summary, as well as the link to the article. Then, based on the news for the top 3 news items, I want to directly craft a potential LinkedIn post that I can share about the news, focusing on why I think this news is impactful for business professionals. Send the 3 proposed LinkedIn posts as a reply to the original message. So you can see there's quite a few steps for this agent to do, and I'm just going to send this one off to Lindy. Now what's happened is we've entered a Lindy chat, and it's basically prompting us to get started. We just need to click on Build Agent. And now we've entered into the agent builder. So on the right-hand side here, we have our flow editor. That's where all the steps to our agent and the different actions are going to be added. And the left-hand side here, we have this chat where we can interact with Lindy to build out our agent. So it's asked a few follow-up questions. First of all, it wants to know what should be the timing of the trigger. So I'm going to say trigger every day at 8 a.m. Then it's also asking what Slack channel do we want to send the messages to. So I'm just going to provide the Slack channel. So over in Slack, I've created a dedicated channel that I'm going to use for interacting with the agent. And what I would always recommend is if we click here on the Get Channel Details, here there's a little channel ID, and that's what I'm going to copy and share with my agent. So here I'm just pasting in that Slack channel ID, and now it's asking about the Perplexity search. Should I search for news from the last 20 hours specifically, or would you prefer a different time frame? So let me say Perplexity search, and I'll say last 24 hours. Make sure the articles were published either yesterday or today. And then I'm going to send this one off. And now this is using an AI model. So depending on how you go, basically it may be asking different questions to what I'm getting, but you can just follow those prompts along and let it start building out your agent. And we can see now what's happening is basically under the hood, Lindy's looking at all the different actions that it has. So it's identified some actions for Perplexity, for Slack. It's found a timer that it's going to use for triggering this agent. And then finally, our agent builder is going to provide a fully written description of what steps the agent will take. So just verify this one. And I'm just going to say, looks good, let's build. And just like that, we can see this agent has got started, and right in front of our eyes, it's adding step by step all of the different actions to our agent, which we can now review. So it says, perfect, I've successfully created your AI news agent. Here's what it does. The agent is configured with your Slack authentication. So I've already connected my Slack account. If you're doing this for the first time, it will basically prompt you to connect Slack, and it's all taken care of. And you can see it's automatically mapped my Slack channel ID. Now, the very first thing I want to show you is we want to go into the settings here, and this is how we can make sure that our agent is running on the new GPT-5. So every agent that you create in Lindy is basically powered by an LLM model, a large language model. And so here we can select from any of the different models. So by default at the moment, it's currently using Claude Sonnet 4, which is the one that what they recommend. Now there's a lot of mixed feelings around the new GPT-5 model, but what's amazing in Lindy is we can just simply in one click change the model here and test out the behavior. And you don't need to add any API keys or anything like that. You can test out the different OpenAI models, the different Gemini models, and the different Anthropic models, all within one click. And what's amazing is when we get access to a new model, you simply just need to go in and upgrade it, and all of a sudden our agent just becomes that much smarter. We can see here Lindy has filled in the complete system prompt that our agent needs to know exactly what it should be doing. And if we go back now into the flow editor, let's check this out step by step. So first of all, we have search AI news, and here it's basically putting in a query that's going to be sent off to Perplexity. All of these prompts have already been filled in by Lindy. We haven't had to write this. So here it says create a concise Slack message with the top 3 AI news items, and it's giving specific instructions about how that should be formatted. Afterwards, it then goes and generates the 3 LinkedIn posts. Here, focus on why the news is impactful, be engaging and professional, include relevant hashtags, be suitable for Yarn's LinkedIn audience. And whatever, if you want to basically add any of your own style or tone of voice, you can simply add it here to the prompt. And then finally, it's got the Slack message to actually send these 3 suggested LinkedIn posts directly to me on Slack, again, with the prompt already filled in exactly on how these messages should be formatted. Now, what I notice here is at the moment it's using the action send channel message. What I actually want is this agent or these LinkedIn posts to be sent as a reply to the original message. So what we could do now to fix some of the issues and keep building this out, I could simply start chatting with my agent builder and let it know what changes I want it to make. But just so you get an idea of just how easy it is to build in Lindy, we're going to do the rest of it using the flow editor. So I'm just going to click here on the plus button under the generate LinkedIn posts, and I want to perform an action, and I'm going to select the right Slack action. And you can see here Lindy has integrations with all the popular apps that we use each and every day. I'm going to select Slack, and what I want to actually use is send a reply to the thread rather than it sending another message in that channel. And you see why this is important a little bit later on. And so now we have this send message step. You can see it's using the GPT-5 model, which is our default, and it's automatically picked up that it's going to reply to this send Slack summary that we had earlier. Now, in terms of the message, what I want to do is you can always have 3 options in Lindy. When you're mapping a field, you can choose auto, and that just means the AI is going to decide what goes there. You can prompt AI to give it some more information about how it should fill this field, or you can set the value manually. In my case, I'm going to prompt AI, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the prompt that Lindy had created for the step underneath, and I'll simply paste that one in. So this is exactly how the 3 LinkedIn posts should be formatted. And I can simply then just remove the original step. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this one to send LinkedIn posts. Basically, the name of each of these models, the way you need to think about this is over this whole agent is basically a large language model. And by properly naming the different actions, it helps the AI make the right decisions. And now there's one last step that we need to do, because all that's happening right now is we're sending the summary to Slack. We're then sending also the LinkedIn posts as a reply. But what I want to also be able to do is interact with my agent so that we can work on improvements to the post. And to do that, all I need to do is say, after a reply is received, so what's going to happen is when it's sending that reply in the thread, after the reply is received, I want to enter into another agent step. And now what we can simply do is add a prompt here to our agent and say, assist Jan with crafting the perfect LinkedIn post or posts, and iterate on the posts based on his feedback. All right, so that should be, it's a very quick prompt. Maybe we need to edit this one later, but it's good enough to get our first version up and running. And what we can do is in these agent steps, we can give our agent access to certain skills. So what I'm going to do here is going to click on skills, and the 2 skills that we want our agent to do, and we need to go again on Slack. We want it to be able to observe messages. And this is a way that I can have a continuous conversation. It's not just like I send one message and it gives me something back. We can have a continuous back and forth. And that's really what takes this further from, like, let's say a basic automation. And I also wanted to be able to continually send replies in thread. So with these 2 skills, our agent has everything it needs to, based on my feedback, keep coming up with better LinkedIn posts. Now, all that is left to do is test this one out. So we can simply deploy it and then click on this test button. And what's really great here is Lindy's going to show you on the right-hand side, step by step, exactly what information is being pulled in from all the different steps and also what content is being created. So here we can see our response coming in from Perplexity. Now our agent has selected the top 3 news items. And we can see that Slack messages come in with the top news items. We can simply click read more to open up the articles. And now our agent is getting to work on crafting the LinkedIn posts. And we can see our agent has now also completed. It's finished and posted in the thread. So let's take a look at Slack. So this is our sort of first shot results simply just by interacting with the agent builder. I would have to be quite critical of these LinkedIn posts. They're not really formatted well and they're sort of just like one paragraph. So the way I would approach this now is basically we just need to update the prompt that we're giving to our agent. So I actually went into ChatGPT and asked it about the best practices of writing LinkedIn posts and asked it to come up with a system prompt. So now I can simply just copy this system prompt that I asked ChatGPT-5 to generate. And in Lindy, so that we can add the prompt, we have a couple of different options. So what I could do is I could go into this area where it's generating the LinkedIn posts initially and improve the prompt here. But in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the settings, and here we have this context, and this is providing background information for the agent to keep in mind at all times. Why I think it's probably more relevant to put here is because in the agent flow, there's 2 places where it will be coming up with LinkedIn posts. First of all, when it generates them the first time, but also when we're going back and forth and working on feedback, I want it to always keep in mind these best practices. So into the settings, I'm just going to go under the context and basically paste this in. So then it also knows when writing LinkedIn content, always follow these principles. And here we have this in-depth guide. So I've just deployed my agent. And so now I can go back to Slack and that I've updated my agent. So I'm just going to ask it, can you please create a new post for option number 3 with the new best practices that you have access to? And there we have it. Now it's still not perfect, but it's already a massive improvement from what we had before. So I hope that gives you a taste of just how quick it is to iterate and make improvements on these agents. Other ways you could basically improve this is maybe you collect a list of LinkedIn posts that you really like and give it to the agent as examples of how it should format LinkedIn posts, and the performance will probably be much better. And as I said at the beginning, you can apply this to whatever industry or whatever topic you want to post about and also stay up to date about. Now, this was just one use case where we've used OpenAI's new ChatGPT-5 model. But if you've been keeping up with the news, you'll also know that OpenAI recently released their new ChatGPT agents, and its use cases are pretty insane. But you might not know where to start, so click here to see 8 incredible use cases for ChatGPT agents that you can start using today. Over there, you'll learn how you can use ChatGPT agents to do anything from lead generation, creating branded presentations, all the way to ordering what you're going to have for dinner. The possibilities are endless, but if you want a head start and learn 8 that you can use right now, I'll see you in the next one.